Religion. Just the mention of the word ignites a million different reactions. Whether or not you are a person of faith, it is clear that religion affects everyday life on this earth. Like politics or economics, we at EraM.com believe it is important to learn about this construct. In this series, entitled Devotion, we ask 3 men of faith about religion. Their faiths are Catholicism, Buddhism, and Islam.
Why did I become a priest? I have to say that the reasons when I was ordained, the reasons I was telling myself why I was getting ordained, probably, I don't know how much they resemble what the reasons now. And often people ask me, when did you decide to become a priest? And the answer I give is, I decided to become a priest this morning when I got out of bed. I have a little practice, what Buddhists call practice, okay, little spiritual practice. That I have, in my bedroom there are paving tiles. And so when I get out of bed and I put my feet on the floor, they're cold. And that cold on the cold tile against my toasty little toes, that's my cue. That shocks me, and I say, okay, I ask myself the question, do I really want to be a priest today? And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I say, yeah, you're right, I certainly want to be a priest today. And then there are other times when I say, what do I got to do today? Oh, okay, all right, let's give this another try, okay? It's showing Catholicism as something more than just believing a lot of things, a list of propositions. Catholicism, my Catholic faith, is something primarily that I do. Beyond believing it, it's something I do. When I get out of bed in the morning, do I really want to be a Buddhist monk? Do I really want to practice the Dharma? Do I really want to practice the gospel? Do I really want to do that? Yeah, it's early in the morning and the floor is cold, and I'm asking myself the question, do I really want to do this? And, well, tomorrow morning I'm going to ask myself the same question.
I mean, the reason why I dedicated my life to this is because I believed it to be the truth. So I grew up in a Muslim family, but we were not very practicing. And I actually had a crisis of faith, and I left the religion. So I completely left Islam, and I actually stopped believing in God, actually. So I became an atheist for a while. And then kind of something happened in my life where I started taking life more seriously. I started looking into different religions. And after studying the different religions, it caused me to renew my faith, reestablish my faith in God, as well as in the religion of Islam. And because I firmly believe that this is the truth, and I believe that the Quran is the guidebook sent by God, that is really why I try to practice my faith and do what I do.
Well, this is how I taught, the Buddhism. You know that the Buddhism is one of our very peaceful religion. You guys hardly ever see the holy war or any kind of war, pick a name under the Buddha. It would never happen. And so we still think as Buddhist people are very humble and know how to respect. Most especially the Buddhism strongly oppose any kind of killing. So actually, I demonstrate, do this interface dialogue or communication with other or respect the other community, because it's not just something special, because what I taught at the Buddhist seminary and the last over 40 years. So yeah, I do what I study, what I educated.
Well, in the world today, you see lots of religious people of different religions, not just Christianity, Muslims, for example, but others as well, who have a great need for certitude. That if they can't be absolutely sure, then their belief system completely falls apart. And frankly, I have to say, I see no spiritual depth in this obsession with certainty. Spiritual depth comes from living creatively, compassionately, with doubt. Do I have doubts about all kinds of things? The existence of God, the truth of Christianity? Of course I do. Of course I do. I want to practice a faith that isn't about certitude. It's about struggle. And I don't even mean here struggle to believe. Yeah, I believe. I do believe. Of course I do, okay? But more than anything else, I believe that Christian faith is something that we do, not some intellectual matter going on between your ears. Religion is something that we have to do. And to the extent that, here I'm going to say something I think is important, but it's also difficult. Doubt about basic things. To the extent it leads to struggle, doubt helps me to live my faith. I'll say this one more time. Christians and others, whatever the religion, that boast about their certitude, I suspect that there's a lot of whistling going on in the dark. That certitude might suggest that there's not a lot of depth in the spiritual practice that's called for here. No, I think doubt is important. And, as I'm 65, I'm, getting older now, okay? I suppose I don't have the same kind of doubts that I had when I was in high school or college. I guess I have better doubts. Doubts about myself, doubts about things that I know I can say that work pretty well, and I wonder, for some reason or other, that just is sounding more and more hollow in my mouth. I doubt it now. I need to find something fresher to say, for example. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'd say as I'm getting older, I think my doubts are getting better. At least I hope so.
In terms of doubts, yeah, definitely. I feel doubts about different things, and there are sometimes doubts about small issues. In terms of when you're researching something, you have a doubt about whether what you were taught or what you read in a book is the correct thing. Sometimes they're about, minor things in the religion, and sometimes they can be about a little bit more major things. But for me, now that I've established my faith in Islam, there's a foundation upon which my belief rests. And that foundation, when it's strong, even if one or two portions of it kind of crack in the sense that, hey, this doesn't make sense to me, I don't understand this seems to be incorrect, there's still a number of other things that I've built my faith upon. Unless the entire edifice cracks and breaks apart, then my religion still stays intact. So yes, I definitely have doubts from time to time on different things, sometimes big things, sometimes small things. But it doesn't affect me as much as it used to, because I know how to process those doubts, and I know how to start to research those doubts, and I know that even if I can't find an answer to it, I know how to gauge what type of effect this doubt is going to actually have on my faith or my being a Muslim in the first place. And in fact, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he actually addressed doubts with his companions. So some of them talked about how they were feeling doubts and they were going through doubts. Even the Prophet himself had doubts in the beginning about his own prophethood. And there's actually ways in which he dealt with that. And he actually explained that having doubts is something totally normal. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with having doubts. Rather, it's how you deal with those doubts. It's almost like, from the moral perspective, anger. Anger is something natural. It's going to happen. People will get angry. But it's the way in which you manifest that anger that really matters at the end of the day.
Back in 70, South Korea, not North Korea though. I was in the army chaplain since 1976. And 1978, the group of the the young officer or some other civilian, we underground protest, against the military government, which is a dictator. And unfortunately, I got cut. And the military government accused me. This is something that maybe you guys never heard about. They accuse me of communist. It's the best shot. This is the best way they can accuse me. So they put me in the interrogation for many months. So I was underground and I was beat up every day for many months. They broke all my bones and they messed up my body so badly. Then then 1979 I came to the United States for political asylum, some kind of political asylum. And since then I have heavily fight with the anger control, anxiety attack. I couldn't sleep because anger, payback. You know what I'm saying? I want to pay back. I'll just get some kind of whatever I got. I go back to Korea and I have to pay back. But it's condition. The United States is a country was really very peaceful. People so nice, very gentle. They gave me the job. They educate me. So all these conditions make me change my forgive or forget it about what happened in 1978. At the same time, I actually more spiritual guy rather than religious guy. Maybe you don't understand that, but this is two different parts. I'm sometimes the very faithful did make me very angry somehow. But you become a spiritual, it's a different situation, It's a more touch with the human being. You understand that? So people, family, or whoever my friend made me change. Not my religion, though. I changed. Well, I tried very hard. I want to change it, but the most important part that changed mine is the people surround me. Their joy, their happiness, their kindness, their humbleness. Yeah, you sitting in the ground of a feces, you smell nothing but the dung. But you're sitting in the middle of the flower plant or nice place, you have a smell of flower. See? So when I living in Korea, is surrounded by a lot of anger and a lot of hatred. But start living in the United States, the condition changed big time. So I have a very, very dramatic life change in U.S. So yeah, condition is very important. Yeah.
Right. I mean, one of the things that really changed my life was a major car accident that I got into. So I was kind of, from an Islamic perspective, going off on the wrong path, hanging around with the wrong friends, going to the wrong places. And then one day, I lost a lot of money in the stock market. I was upset with my parents. I decided to run away from home. On my way, running away from home, I got challenged on a street race, and I used to street race a lot. And let's just say I lost that race and got into a car accident. So it was a major accident, and I came out completely unscathed. And people kept reminding me and telling me that, God spared you for a reason. Wake up. You need to change your life. You need to stop living this way. You're smarter than that, and you can do so much more with your life. And that just kind of got me thinking. I was still very skeptical, and I wasn't believing in God or anything. But that really made me think about death. And also, I was almost going to go to jail, prison, because of the accident and how it happened. So that just kind of made me wake up and say, I need to start taking my life more seriously. And that's when I started to read more. And that kind of opened the path to me changing my life a lot. That reading actually did it, but that car accident was kind of like a spark that says, stop wasting your life away. It could be over at any time. Do something beneficial and worthwhile in your life. So that was really a big defining moment for me.